Daniel, we're
Hi.
back in the room with Daniel Stroupe,
In the room.
Turnbull and Asser. Daniel, please tell us what's going on behind you.
So this here is, it's a little, we'll just call it a reproduction. It's not completely faithful. I'll be completely transparent. It's
So
not a
which
completely
version?
faithful, transparent. The 1970s version with Mr. Redford.
Right.
So of his pink suit, and but I have to say, I mean, I think it does capture, the essence of the garment rather well in the film and everything like that. So behind me, I have a piece that was offered, kind of like made to measure if you really wanted to do it. We have enough of this pink fabric that like one suit could have been made for like one special person. So for the store display, we only made the vest and the jacket is in a Sea Island cotton, as opposed to a linen, which is what the original would have been made out of. The pockets, while are correct to be flat, with flat pockets that are straight on, it does have a ticket pocket, which is not correct to the film. Very wide lapels, which are appropriate. These have a slight kind of slant to it, which I don't think are exactly what was going on in the film. In terms of a product that's actually relatively available with Turnbull is the Gatsby shirt and tie. So it is a small light blue microcheck shirt with a white contrast collar and cuffs. The cuffs are a rounded double cuff. To be noted, the film is a single cuff, not double cuff.
Yeah.
I do not know why they did not make them single cuffs, because I feel like that would have made the, legends aspect of it all a little bit more interesting and special, because you don't see, especially in ready-to-wear, a single cuff option. But so maybe they thought for commerciality's sake to do it as a double cuff would be best. And then these, I just have it with some vintage kind of Art Deco style cufflinks.
Nice.
So Daniel, is this yours?
The
or
tie
is this the
here.
Sorry to interrupt.
So
Is this
it's the
yours or is this
stores.
stores. And this is a one-off version that they've done, especially for the store.
Yeah, it's a one-off.
And
yeah,
you
so
can
it's
buy
a
this.
one-off.
This is.
We could have it made for you as a made-to-measure option in our shooting department. Yeah. Also, when I first joined the company, it did fit. It does not fit anymore, guys. It does not fit anymore. So that's why it's on my mannequin. So.
Well, there's some scenes where he's just looking out. He's looking out the window in middle distance in some scenes with it all open and hanging out, right? So maybe you can model it in that way, right?
This is true. I mean, yes, open and hanging out indeed. You mean my gut over my trousers? Okay. And so
being too mean to yourself.
And so so it features a light blue silk lining, which is correct. Double-breasted waistcoat. I will have to say the lapels is a little big, I think, than what I noticed in the film. I mean, I did study it, but I feel like these are rather large. That said, I enjoy this waistcoat quite a bit. I think it's a very handsome selection. It does feature the 4 pockets, though, as correct in the film.
I think the waistcoat lapels were more of a, how do you call it?
Frog mouth?
Fish mouth lapel, more of a, or they might even call it cran necker, I think. But yeah, it's like kind of halfway between a notch lapel and a peak lapel in the film, I think. On the waistcoat, not the jacket.
Well, I know. Right. I mean, so I can say this. I mean, so we featured it as like a full bellied peak lapel, which again I think is very handsome.
Also correct.
I would actually wear this.
Yeah, for the period.
But I don't think it's correct to the film. I think this peak is a bit too big, and the belly is too big. So the lapel's a little bit big. But to be honest with you, to balance out this particular jacket, like the garment itself, I think it actually like is a good choice. So
it looks brilliant, mate. It looks
It does look really good overall. Yeah.
And then the tie. So okay, so with the tie, the tie is available, ready to wear. The pattern is correct. The colors are correct. The size is not correct. The medallions and all that is larger in the film. They're
I noticed that.
Almost like I would say like a centimeter square, while these are perhaps a half centimeter, if that. So I don't know why that happened. I don't know if it's a thing about like rights and copyright and all that, and like if it was like an actual reproduction, if we would have to like pay royalties to the Fitzgerald, estate or anything like that. So if it just kind of looks like it, we don't have. I have no idea. So don't like quote me on any of that. I have no clue. But the pattern is indeed correct, though. The colors are correct, but the size is not. Also, in terms of this shirt being referenced with this suit, from where I'm sitting, it looked like Gatsby was wearing a white shirt.
I thought that too, and I was thinking to myself while watching the film, well, wait, where is this mini check shirt in the first place? Because I don't know, maybe you picked it out. I was searching for it the whole time, and I couldn't find it.
I did not pick it out. I have to be, yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know where this check came from, quite frankly. It's just because there are many other shirts that are much clearly something else. And from where I'm sitting, it looks like he was wearing a white shirt. Maybe it was a blue shirt.
In that white shirt, it looked like it might have been made by another shirt maker, actually, because I noticed the placket it's a little more like the one on my Bud shirt maker's shirt. It's a 1/4 inch from the edge rather than, what is it, like 3/8 of an inch from the edge approximately.
So our you mean the two center seams here?
Yeah, on the placket, yeah.
They're basically 3/4.
Yeah.
Daniel, I had a question about the ties.
Please.
So, loosely related, you were saying off the record that had they really wanted to reproduce this, there's a potential you'd have to pay various estates.
Correct.
Or at least a licensing. Does that work now with the 007 ties and the Joker tie that's available through TNA?
I definitely know that's the case with the 007 ties.
Right. Okay. So
I don't know about the Joker tie, but the 007 ties that a little piece of the pie goes to the Fleming estate.
Yeah, that's why the ties and the shirts are just a little more than the rest of TNA's offerings. Yeah.
And do you have an archive at TNA that you could look at for the Gatsby, as in anything that's there with designs and early pictures or anything like that?
I would certainly hope so. I mean, we definitely have an archive. And I would imagine, especially something like this, in which, I mean, like, again, slightly off the record, but like totally on the record. I mean, clearly a deal was like brokered, to have actual like very clear Turnbull and Asser boxes present and like right here, in the shot. So like a deal was clearly brokered. So if that's the case, they should have record. Should is the operative word. I mean, they're sitting there talking about how like they don't know, like how there's no like receipts or something like saying that Fleming, shopped at the store. And I'm sitting there like, listen, let me tell you what. I've served a couple famous people in my time. The receipts are there. Possibly,
Well, it's
like,
referenced. It's referenced in the John Pearson book on the life of
it
Ian
is.
Fleming.
So we. I mean, the fact of the matter is that we do know that Fleming shopped at TNA, at least in the very least as a ready to wear customer, and playing otherwise is kind of silly. So like no, we know, except I guess it's like, oh well, we don't have like the hard evidence. And,
Yeah. You don't have it in the archive, but you would have it in kind of ancillary evidence like receipts.
Sure, but it seems as though they may not even have it as like ancillary evidence. I would say like a receipt,
right?
A point of sale, as an example. So when we did release the new Bond collection, in the press release, they actually included like photos of the actual like orders for Mr. Brosnan.
That's right. Yeah,
I do remember that. Yeah.
And like, apparently there are no receipts of the orders. I guess I don't know, but I'm just kind of like, that's just terrible housekeeping, to be frank with you.
But this is
And
early 70s, though. I mean, Brosnan late 90s.
Yeah.
I think people are a bit more. I'm guessing more canny to how commercial this will be, as in early 70s, maybe not as much.
Yeah, probably not as much because, as mentioned, whenever 2 episodes ago, whenever this link is inserted in, like product placement wasn't necessarily a thing in the 70s. I mean, the most kind of famous example of it starting was the Superman movie, where he does something with a Coca-Cola tractor trailer.
He throws him through a Marlboro truck.
Marlboro, that's what it is, Marlboro. So like that's like kind of when like product placement really became a thing. So and so the 70s was when this was becoming an idea of how to appeal to consumers. But and as stated before, Ralph Lauren, who made the suits, TNA, who made the shirts, in the original, not the original, the 70s film, they definitely they all had agendas. They all wanted to sell things in conjunction with the film. And then of course Brooks Brothers, I mean, that had a very well publicized and marketed Gatsby collection, that had variants of ties and stuff like that used in the films and stuff like that. So yeah, that's sort of market tie-in is, especially now, very common. It's very, very common.
Daniel, how much would that be, that ensemble, the waistcoat, the tie, the shirt, and the jacket, for anyone watching this interested, saying, God, I have to have that?
Right. So the tie would be, oh Lord, I work in bespoke, so I kind of hold on.
Sorry, I know I'm ambushing you.
I know. So the shirt would be, I want to say $475. That'd be correct. And this is all American, so USD. So $475. The tie is $225, and then the suit, if you were to do a full suit, so that would be with pants, because this gentleman does not have pants. Which, if that were the case, you need to have 2 forward-facing pleats, and I think cuffs. So a made-to-measure suit, would be approximately $4,500.
In linen, or do you think Sea Island cotton?
So this, in the cotton that we have here, there is a bolt of this cotton in the store for.
Oh, terrific.
The one unicorn that wants this particular situation. But to be honest with you, if you want to be screen accurate, we would have to do it in the linen. And I would say it's probably the same price. It depends. Okay. It depends on the vendor. Like if it's like Laura Piana or Dorme or someone like that, but so it depends. So it could be, but for a 3-piece, I think they start at $4,500.
Awesome. Daniel, thanks, mate. I appreciate I've put you on the spot with a lot of these questions. This was very off the cuff.
No worries.
Jovan, did you have anything else following up?
Oh, no, not that I can think of. I think I already said in our previous recording that I don't know. I suspect, and I may not be correct, that the suit in the film may have been blended with wool or cotton or something else to make it a little more wrinkle resistant. But
In the
honestly,
original or
yeah, the original in
Yeah.
the '74 film,
right, yeah.
because it doesn't wrinkle as much as I would expect pure linen to. But honestly, like Sea Island cotton like that, that'll wrinkle quite a bit too,
Oh
even in
yeah,
twill.
like I mean,
So yeah.
right. I mean, yeah. So see, and this is a twill. Like I have a suit that was Sea Island cotton. I was like, oh my god,
Oh
this is
wow.
a nightmare. Like like just right, like
I bet it felt incredible though.
you can't even. It was beautiful. It
Yeah.
breathed. Yeah, there we go. Like wonderfully. But like the oils on your hands, like if your hands were incredibly oily, could like kind of smudge and make like a mark on it. I'm like, oh, this
boy.
Is
Yeah, that
far
may
too
not
much.
be worth
I
it
do
for a
not-
lot of people.
Yeah, I do not wear that. So, but and the fabric is fabulous. It was from Dorme, I want to say, which is like such an interesting company. It's because of like it's like an English company, but it's like a French mill, or maybe that's reversed. I think that is reversed. I think it's an English mill and a French company.
Sounds about right.
Given Dorme, yeah. So yeah, like but I met the owner of them actually, like their future son-in-law or something just happened to pop into the store, and they're like, "Oh, Dorme, that's my family. I'm marrying the daughter or whatever." I'm like,
Wow.
Nice.
I was just sitting here looking at this guy like, do you know what you're doing? So, and also, yes, please come.
And please buy
I'll
it.
drink. So.
Well, it's probably one of the most iconic looking suits of any film, right? Because it's in the book. It's in both films, original and remake. It's on the front cover of every kind of album or poster or whatever you've related to
And
the
then
film.
Tom yammers on and on about it in an almost
Exactly.
homophobic way.
Doesn't he? Yeah, the man in the pink suit from Oxford has got something to say about shagging my wife. And exactly that.
Oh, you're from Oxford.
Do you know what? I've gone through about 2 hours of Gatsby talk and not called either one of you old sport yet. I've been calling the cat old sport all day.
The thing is, I was like trying, and I was like, nope. I have to be honest with you. Okay, maybe unpopular opinion, but I hate Leonardo's like accents, affectation, especially how he says "old sport" with no T. Old sport.
Yeah.
No, enunciate your words. There's
Leo,
a T on the end. Goddammit.
Yeah.
Old sport. Come on now, like.
Come on,
I love Leo as an actor, but like, yeah, he was a little less convincingly upper crust, or at least playing at upper crust than I think Redford was.
I should say though, the moment where they get introduced to Gatsby is, I mean, it's now kind of fucked out with the amount of gifs that you see on Twitter with people kind of doing the toast and all that. But the timing of it, the fireworks and the music, completely
that was well done.
On everything else that tries to do anything like that. I mean, the Redford version of him spinning around. Hello, sport. Okay, that's 74. I get it. But
also, that's absolutely not how it happened in the book. It was sort of like this not serendipitous, but like it was an awkward moment where Nick was like, "Who is this Gatsby guy?" And then he's like, "Oh, it's me, bitch!" Like,
that's right. Yeah, they really dumbed that down in the 74 version. He just
like
in the room. And didn't put his
because he had his like manservant, like with his like leer and his gun and shit, like funneling the elevator handle. I noticed. Like he had like him, like he wants to see you, like as opposed to just like this guy who just happened to come upon your party with you and your totally not a lesbian friend. We're pushing the narrative, you guys. We're pushing the narrative. Like, And then it was like, oh well, I'm Gatsby, and then dun 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 dun. Like it was
pure
actually
cinema,
perfect.
pure cinema.
That
moment, because I said to my girlfriend at the time when I'm watching it, I'm struggling with this because it's hard and it's fast. It's 20 minutes in. I haven't got any kind of growth on what the fuck's going on in this. But the moment that happens, and he does toast to the camera, I mean, fuck, you're in the film then. He kind of, because it takes a long time to get to Gatsby. And you have all of this. You have all of this build-up and the emancipation, but it is so worth the payoff because that moment is so good. Anywho, and in fact, my girlfriend said, because I said I'm struggling, she goes, why don't we just fast forward to the party scenes here? And that in a way sums up, I think, Lerman, because you see that he does in his portfolio, he does Moulin Rouge very well. He does music, he does vignettes, he does shorts for Adem. You know, these kind of 4 or 5 minute, really good party MTV type movies, he fucking nails. What I don't think he quite gets is the cohesion of all of these separate parties and linking them together into something that you can watch and watch cohesively. So, but the party
That's
scenes,
a fair assessment.
Yeah. Did he come from the music video like world? Like, I mean, like Transformer guy, Michael Bay. He came from like music videos.
Yeah.
Like, and you can tell, like, because filters and shit. Like, you know, like you can tell he comes from like the music video world as opposed to
a storytelling world. A music video world is not a storytelling world. As in, you can you can concentrate on a great shot.
Right. You know, I mean, it should be short form storytelling, but let's be very clear, it is not. And we can go into that, but let's not.
In the meantime, gents, we've done about 2 hours now on Gatsby. I'm gonna have to go and watch some Die Hard. I'll be honest with you, but it's been really, really fun, and especially looking at that suit and the breakdown of it. So thanks so much, Daniel.
Of course.
And, they can get hold of you down at Turnbull and Asser. The townhouse is open, and
we're chugging along, man.
You're doing well.
You know, New York strong.
Doing the Lord's work. Joe Van, thanks for taking time out again and speaking to us today.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome.